Awesome. Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the next episode of The Conscious Female Founder. This morning, I am joined by the incredible Anne-Marie Hill. Anne-Marie and myself met a year ago. It literally was a year ago today,
Yes.
when we were both featured on Fox TV's Women of Influence. Anne-Marie and myself have very different backgrounds, come from different places, but have struck up the most incredible friendship. And she has helped me immensely over some difficult times that I've had over the last year or so. So I just wanted to take this opportunity, Anne-Marie, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are, a little bit about your background, because you are an anxiety coach helping women all over the world, and you are really, really spreading quite an incredible message, because I think there are so many people out there struggling at the moment. And mental health obviously has become something that we much more talk about, but I still think there's still not an element of taboo, but there's still an element of people maybe suffering in silence, and you are definitely helping those people come to the forefront, talk about it, and giving them some amazing coping techniques and strategies. So yeah, give us a bit of a background of yourself, your story, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Thank you. It's great to be here. So thank you for inviting me on our 1 year anniversary. That's exciting.
Yes.
Last year was in Florida. This year it's on Zoom. I'm in North Wales. That's exciting. It's
Yes, of course.
just the same as it was last year.
Yeah.
Weather and everything.
Oh yeah, the weather's just like Florida.
Like being in the studio. But yeah, no, it's great to be here. Like you say, I'm a life coach really. I'm a life and mindset coach that I specialize in anxiety, helping and supporting women, not just with anxiety though, women who lack confidence, who maybe feel a bit lost as well and a bit
Yeah.
overwhelmed, all the things that I've been. So these are all boxes that I have ticked in the past. My journey began um, about 9 years ago. I think it's 9 years ago now. I'd left a It was a violent relationship. Let's say what it was. It was a violent relationship. I'd been with him for 10 years and it had always been a bit toxic, but I stayed because you do, don't you? And you think, oh, it would
Yeah, you
get
do.
better, but it didn't get better. In fact, it got worse. And eventually I just things took a serious turn and I needed to go. So I left. Chloe was 4
My goodness.
at that point. So I was a single mum, wasn't earning much money. I had my own business then. I was in network marketing, still am.
Mhm.
Um, but I was in network marketing, not earning a lot of money, and just was under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Was still receiving toxicity, is that the word, from
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
my ex, who would take any opportunity to,
Yeah. Stick the
needle
knife
me,
in.
all the things. So I was kind of dealing with my own stuff. And then, of course, I've got a 4 year old who was completely confused about everything. So then
Oh
she was
God.
also processing her stuff and was a bit angry for a little while, which is fair enough.
Understandable. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
She was having her own kind of thing. So I'm trying to guide her whilst and under pressure. And oh, I mean, I was in debt. The house was up for repossession because I wasn't earning enough. I mean, it was
Yeah.
horrendous.
So much.
Yeah, it was a lot. And what I didn't realize then was that, and it kind of makes sense now when I talk about it, but kind of back then, I was also carrying a lot of baggage, the things that
Mhm.
I'd been told that I was, and do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And kind of, so I left that relationship thinking, oh, it's going to be a whole new start for me. But actually, it wasn't because I'd
Yeah.
brought with me, I was going to say bags. I mean, we're talking trailer full of
Yeah. Yeah.
stuff that I didn't realize that I was going to have to unpack and and sort through really.
Yeah.
And so I just kept going, and that it's one of those things. And this is, I'll go on to why I do what I do. But I was kind of talking to people and saying, "Oh God, I feel really tired and I'm really stressed and I'm not sleeping. And some days I didn't really eat because I made sure Chloe always had food, but
Yeah.
sometimes I just have a slice of toast for tea and
Yeah.
looking after myself very well either." And so, of course, I would say to people, "Oh God, I feel all these things." And I'm just like, "Well, yeah, of course you are. You've just had a terrible thing happen, and da da da." And you kind of, well, you just got to keep going. So you just think, "Oh yeah, I've got to
Yeah.
just keep going then." Well, and to be fair, I didn't have a choice because
Yeah. You
my
had a child.
needed me, so I couldn't just go enough. But of course, and I do believe, and I know it's people meaning well, but I felt a pressure. to almost, nobody said it, but I kind of felt like it was like, stop moaning, just get
Yeah.
going and just
You need to
keep,
get on with it. This
yeah,
is life.
and it will get better. You've just got to get through this. And I was like, okay, just keep going then and keep working and doing all the things. And then fast forward a little bit, and I met Stuart. And obviously, yeah, and again, part of me was thinking, oh, this is really nice now. I've got this great guy and all the things. It's all going to be rosy now. But what I didn't realize was I can see it now, but I was heading
Yes.
the decline, very much so. And it was when he moved in with us that I don't even know what happened, but I went to bed one day and just didn't get up.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how long that was for. I can't remember if it was days or if it was weeks. I really cannot remember. And I do believe that that was my body saying, enough now.
You're done.
You've got to stop now. And of course, I could because somebody was there.
Yeah.
See,
And was that point almost like, was it physical or was it more mental? Because I know personally for myself, I've suffered both with physical exhaustion and I've suffered on the other end of the scale with mental exhaustion. And I'll be really honest, I would take physical exhaustion over mental exhaustion every single day. The mental exhaustion side of things is absolutely crippling to the point where you struggle to get out of bed. I mean, I've still managed to get through those particular points of my life. But so do you think yours was a combination of both, or do you think it was more mental or more physical?
it was definitely both.
Yeah,
I think it was equally. I can't
yeah,
really remember now. Obviously, the mental aspect is the thing that really kind of rocked
yeah,
me, but I was also very physically tired.
yeah,
Also, I mean, I was poorly as well, not like seriously ill, but because I'd not been looking after myself.
yeah,
And so there were signs of, like getting the headaches and stuff like that. And, the nausea and the physical aspects, but that was due to a lack of self-care, really.
yeah. Some
Just
self-love.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it was awful. But I do believe now that I've got through it and I'm, past that now, that it was my wake-up call. And I am
yes.
grateful for it, as horrendous as it was at the time. I needed that kick up the backside for me to just go, enough now. This is my body saying, like, stop it. You
It's
cannot.
it's almost like you hit rock bottom to a certain degree.
Oh, I have,
And
yeah.
and I think then your body and your brain, everything kind of just starts to almost shut down to a certain degree because it needs time to heal physically and mentally. I mean, when you kind of, I don't know whether you can remember this, because obviously it must have been such a blur. Like all of it must have been a complete blur. Like you said, like, you don't know whether it was days, weeks, months. But when you kind of got to the, I guess, to the point maybe where you were coming back out again, how did, because I know obviously you specifically specialize in anxiety. Did you then almost get to a point where you'd hidden from the world? I don't know whether that's the right way of putting it, but you'd gone into that kind of like hibernation phase of your life. Did you then struggle then coming back out again? Did like the anxiety then kick in of like, oh my gosh, what's everyone going to think? Where have I been? And then I guess like did self-doubt start to kick in and all those kinds of things?
Very much so. Even I remember even being in bed, and I always do this. This is my chatter.
Yeah, yeah,
This is my negative head, which I know now is my subconscious just running on flipping
yeah.
reruns. What it
But do you know,
does.
I call them the shitty committee.
Yeah, I love that. Somebody else I know calls it bitchy Brenda.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. It's exactly it, isn't it?
And that's the key, though. That was part of my kind of, I don't know if it's healing, but was to actually see me differently to this. And
Yes.
when I'm coaching women, it's like this voice in your head is not you.
Yeah.
It's this, and to see it differently. And so I've called it the chatter. Fern Cotton named her the chatter, and I couldn't think of another name, so I thought, well, that'll do. I'll call it that. And so when I'm, even to this day, if I'm thinking like, oh, I can feel, I know when my brain's going, and I just go, stop it. And I know it looks a bit mad because I'm detaching myself from this, and I will
Yeah.
argue. So that kicked in. So because I'm laid in bed now, and it scared me. I'm not gonna lie, lying in bed,
Mhm.
thinking like, oh my God, how did I get here?
Yeah.
it frightened me, and of course the thoughts, and there were some dark days, and of course this kicks in then, going, oh my god, you're a rubbish mom, oh my god, look at you,
Yes.
you've got Stuart now looking after your daughter, oh my god. So of course that runs and you just feel even worse then. So then,
Yeah. So it's even harder to get up then.
absolutely. And so even simple things like getting showered
Yeah.
too, because also I knew I would feel nice, and I knew obviously I needed to, but I didn't want to feel nice. I didn't feel like
Yeah.
I had to feel nice, and that's where the brain went. Um, and so I remember going to the doctors because I was quite scared, and we got to the doctors, and he said, "Oh yeah, it's anxiety and depression," and I was just like, "I think I'm going mad." And he said, "Well, you're not." I used to say the word a lot. Am I mad? And the doctor's like, "No, you're not mad."
Mm,
And so he prescribed antidepressants, and I was like, no, I am
yeah.
not taking them because you've said I'm not mad, and I'm not taking those. And he was
Yeah.
like, well, he said, all it is, you've got a chemical imbalance going on, and your antidepressants, which is not quite true now I've realized. But anyway, he told me that um, these tablets are going to help to increase the levels of
Yeah.
serotonin. In the same way that if I just told you that you were diabetic and needed insulin because your body's
Yeah.
not producing it, would you still be arguing with me? And I was like,
Yeah.
I said, well, why are you still arguing with me then? So I took them. And I remember even my mum, I mean, bless her, but I said to her, like, look, I've been to the doctors because nobody knew any of this stuff either. So it was
Yeah.
like,
Of course.
I just hid it. And I think that's why I ended up where I was as well, because it was that painted smile. We go, you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, fine. And I
Yes.
wasn't fine. And so actually saying to her, I'm on antidepressants, and her reaction was like, oh no, oh, you're not. You've got to get off them. And you're
So
like,
hard.
not helpful. We have spoke about that since, but again, that's the stigma.
Yeah, it is the stigma. It's a huge stigma. I think it's really interesting as well because I think for me personally, I believe that there is a real place for modern medicine. There is a place and there is a need for it. And in those particular situations, I think it probably was completely needed. And I understand why people go down that route. I think on the flip side for me as well, I think there is also a place for the holistical side of things. And when I say the holistical side of things, I mean, yes, holistical medicine, but also maybe the holistical mindset side of things. Because actually, I think there is the space for both of them to work quite well together. So I'm not poo-pooing medicine at all. And I'm not saying, oh, just go down the holistical right side of it. Actually, when the time is needed, there is a real space for both of them. And when you put them together, actually, that's when maybe deep healing can happen. And you can kind of see this person getting out of this cycle because then we're understanding our minds and the way we're thinking and why we're thinking like that and then couple it with medicine actually that then is an opportunity for real healing and real growth in someone. Would you kind of agree with that? Is that you
Well,
kind of you
100%.
went
I mean,
down?
I've been criticised for this. Somebody said to me that I'm
Yeah.
irresponsible for coming on social media and saying that the antidepressants didn't do it all for me, but they didn't.
Well,
And that,
no, I think in that situation, this is like the way I've seen it is it can deal with the problem at or the top level, but if we're not dealing with something that's going on underneath that, which is maybe where the holistical and the mindset side of things comes into play, then we're only dealing with something at surface level.
yeah, absolutely. And they did help to a degree where from feeling complete despair to then thinking, I don't want to feel like this anymore, but what do I do? And that's where the tablets stop doing their thing.
Yes.
Because then it's like, okay, so what do I do then?
Yeah.
How do I get out of bed then?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
want to, but then I was thinking, right, okay, first step, and there you go. I started right. I'm going to have a shower then, and I created my own. I call them my 5 daily promises, which I do to this day. And
Yeah.
then the first things, and then we're talking personal self care because these were the
Yeah.
things that I'd stopped,
Yeah.
and I introduced them gradually to the point where I was still in the bedroom, but now I'm dressed. I've
Yeah.
straightened my hair, or at least brushed my hair. I've brushed my teeth. I've done my skincare, but I'm still in the bedroom. So it's like, okay, so how do I get out of the bedroom now?
Yeah.
So then, but again, this tablet doesn't do that.
That.
So by
Yeah.
now I'm reading books and I'm watching videos and I'm trying to find my way because I didn't have anybody to guide me either. And so it got to a point where I was in the house. So the depression had lifted,
Yeah.
but I wasn't leaving the house due to anxiety now. And I didn't leave the house for 6 months. In
Yes.
the house was running sweet. I mean, I built
Yeah.
our network marketing business. I increased our turnover by £8,000 a month in
Yeah.
12 weeks. And I didn't leave the house and I didn't speak to anybody on the phone. So I was highly functioning within my safety net.
Yeah. Within your safe zone.
I just wasn't able to even step
Yeah.
out of the garden. And
That's
again, that's the thing that I had to learn. And it took me a long time. And I would say that it took me a good 6 years before
wow.
I would comfortably say, I think I've got this nailed now. I think I'm in a position where whatever comes up for me, I'm going to be able to manage it. But that was 6 years.
That's absolutely incredible, to be honest with you. The fact that you've managed to do that yourself and put the pieces together, I can see how incredibly powerful that is for obviously the people that you are helping, because you've walked that path. So everything that they're probably coming up against, you have experienced to a degree, and you can help them put the tools and techniques in place to make life that little bit better. I guess my question is, like, how do you help them, and who is there, like, a specific criteria of people that you help?
First of all, the people that I help, they need to be prepared to put in the work.
Of course. Yeah.
Because you have to want to do it, because and also some of the things, and I think I was thinking about this earlier, I think perhaps it might feel a little bit disappointing, maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but because I don't have a magic wand to go,
No.
I've had women say to me, "Can you fix my anxiety?" And I say, "Well, no." And they go, "Oh,
Mm.
good then." But first of all, we've got to understand that anxiety keeps us safe. We need
Yes.
anxiety. When if you've been out today and crossed the road safely, you've had a little bit of anxiety making sure that it was safe to do that. If you're
Yeah.
driving, even coming on and preparing, like the this interview today and the one in Fox, I felt a bit anxious, but
Yeah.
it was good anxiety because it really got me to prepare for it. And so when I got there, although
Yeah.
I was nervous, I was sharp, and it made me prepare for that. So we need it.
Yes.
It's a problem, though, if it stops us doing things.
Yeah.
And so the first really kind of steps to overcoming and managing anxiety is understanding what's bringing it on.
Yes.
And I guess when I'm kind of saying to women about doing the thinking bit, is a bit, "Ugh, wasn't expecting to do some thinking," but we need to
Yeah.
do the thinking. We need to understand. I worked out very quickly why I wasn't leaving the house, and it's because I was scared that something might happen due to my past.
Right. Yeah.
Wait, what if I bump into somebody? What if, oh my God, and what if they start on me? I can't deal with that right now. And well, that
Yeah.
because also my body at that point was just trying to keep me safe. It's like, well, stay in.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't yeah. So it's trying
Yeah.
to look after me. But of course, it wasn't practical to stay in. And also, women with anxiety, as I was, you're tired, like you were saying, it's exhausting. So
Yeah.
I do a 12-week coaching program. So it's really kind of bespoke. It's me and the lady
Yeah.
on one on a weekly sessions where it's all about them. Because of course everybody's anxiety is different, they're anxious about different things, it shows up differently, and so it's all about them. And so with the first thing we do though is look at how to relax the body,
Yeah.
how to get some
Yes.
sleep, because the world it can seem a different place if you've had a good sleep,
Yes. It can do. Oh my gosh, it can do very much so. I've definitely been there.
but you're coming at it with a bit, feeling a little bit fresher. And then we look at like the lifestyle things, and this is why I take, like you were saying about holistic approach, this is why I do that, because through my own learning I looked at, like, is there anything I could do in my diet then? Are there any mood boosting foods? I didn't know that was a thing, and actually it is. It's like, oh, interesting. And then understanding kind of the play that gut health has with your mental health,
Yes.
and it plays into your hormonal health, which affects your mental health and even your social environment. So all of a sudden, it's like, oh, actually, it's like pieces of a jigsaw.
Yes. And putting it all together.
Yes. So we look at kind of lifestyle things as well. And then we look at actual strategies, because
Yes.
I think it's really important. And I mean, I read tons and tons of books. It's like, how to leave the house. Is there a chapter on how do you get out the house? And so I would read volumes of books. But what I wanted was something to go, here's an exercise, do this.
Yes.
You go, oh, there you go, something to do. All of this
Yeah.
is very interesting, but what can I actually do? And that's when I came across CBT. So I learned my CBT techniques from books.
That's
Um,
amazing.
and I use them in my coaching because they're such a useful tool to just help to kind of, again, get you to think about it. And
Mm,
and it's that thing as well of being aware of your own body and being
yes.
aware of where your thoughts are heading. What's your automatic thought process? This happened, I think that.
Yes.
And so it's understanding that and then thinking, right, okay, well, that's not serving me very well. How do I change that thought process?
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, when I'm coaching, because I have a membership as well, and so again, it's all these other little bits as well as the strategies, but things like we've done relaxation, we've done about setting boundaries. That was another thing
Yeah, it's huge.
I hadn't considered, and I wish I'd set them years ago. It would have been a very different story had
Of
I
course, right?
stuck to setting boundaries. And it's these things though that we don't realize the impact
That they have on us.
have,
Yeah.
limiting beliefs and all of those things. So my membership is all about, again, just these are tiny pieces of a jigsaw
That we're going
that
to put together.
help women grow in confidence, which then helps as well when this chatter kicks in. And mine still does. I've had it a little bit this week where it's going to, when you just go, actually, you're wrong. And I'll tell you why you're wrong, because of these things.
Yeah, so that was actually something that I was going to move on to. I guess like yourself in business, because obviously you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you've had other businesses in the past, you're quite used to this world of, I guess, essentially working for yourself, and not having an employee. So when it comes to you specifically within business, and this was going to be a question I have for you. I see a lot of women, I guess, struggle with the first step, or with, I guess, the confident piece of um, sort of stepping out on their own and giving it a try. So, would you say that do you ever still suffer or get days where you just feel like you're lacking in confidence, or you're just feeling, I guess, the chatter, or for me, the shitty committee kind of kick in, and they sort of give you a level of like, oh, a bit of imposter syndrome, even though, you can sit there and look at all the things that you've done. Does that ever happen for you still?
Yeah, very much so. And
Yeah.
I think as well, I think it always will. I don't think that will ever stop for anybody. And even, you know, through my kind of journey with entrepreneurism and all the things as well, I've met some incredible people, men and women. And when you talk to them, they still have moments of you just go,
Yeah,
no way. And they do. So none of that goes away. And again, this is why, I mean, obviously I'm passionate about what I do anyway,
of
but this is
course.
why I think it's needed, because we can never stop that happening.
Yes.
If we've got tools in place or things where we just go, actually, I know where my brain's heading today.
Yes, yeah. So it's like you check yourself.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I know, I can see it, I can feel it, I can hear it in my chatter. Right, what am I going to do? And sometimes for me, the thing I need to do is to come out of here and just take a break.
Yeah, yeah,
And, but again, it's that awareness, and this is like the whole premise of it. It's being aware of what's going on. Like this has happened today, or somebody said this online, because it happens, doesn't it? And you just go,
yeah, of course, yeah.
oh crikey, is that what everybody thinks? Of course, your child will go, yeah, everybody's saying that, and you think, oh my god, is that right? And you think, oh, and then you think, right, okay, this is what I'm going to do though.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I think that your brain starts to pick up on, I guess, like an unconscious bias. It's like if one person says something, or you have that moment of self-doubt or lack of confidence, then all of a sudden, before you know it, your brain is trying to, and this does happen, your brain starts to try and pick up evidence to reinforce
Yeah, that's
that
right.
belief.
Yeah.
When actually we have to understand where that belief came from, and understanding that it actually probably isn't true. It may have come from, I don't know, childhood, or like past relationships or something like that. And your brain develops these stories to essentially keep you safe,
Hmm.
because it wants to keep you safe. But it's very interesting how, yeah, like fast forward however many years and you've got a business, and you can now clock that that it still happens. And I wholeheartedly believe it happens for every business owner. Every business owner out there will have days of self-doubt. They will have days of feeling like an imposter. They will have days of low confidence. And it's recognizing those moments. And then, like you said, having the strategies in place to be able to take yourself back out of it again and understand, actually, that's just this going on in the back of my head. And I think it's incredible because you are essentially living, walking, talking proof of what you do, because you say, yes, I still get these days, but I know how to deal with them. And that's where you're it's almost like that's where your superpower is become, is to then coach other women, whether they are business owners or not, in quite could be a very difficult period of their life. So you're an absolute powerhouse. You are walking, talking proof. And I can say that as well, because there's definitely been moments, obviously, in our friendship where I've come to you and I was going through a particularly tough time and stuff like that. And you've given me great tips and tools and techniques if I do get those moments of low confidence or anxiety or, quite dark thoughts. So yeah, you are absolutely incredible. And I am so excited to watch your journey, because you are helping women all over the globe, and getting people talking about this as well, which I think is like the first step. And it's so important that we shouldn't hide behind, taboos or the door or
You're right.
whatever.
That's why I do. Again, I've been criticised for this attention seeking,
Yeah.
apparently. But then it was only when I started to then leave the house, and like we would go to business meetings with our network marketing business, and because we'd reached a certain level, Stuart did a talk about how we got there,
Mm.
and he said to me, "Do you mind if I mention like a little bit about kind of, yeah, we did it, but this is what was going on for us?" Because again,
Yeah.
people get this very skewed vision
Yes.
version, because so people were seeing us like flying up the charts, which we did at that time, and think, oh, they've got it all, and this, that, and
I
the
got
other.
it all together.
Yeah, and because we do, don't we? We look at somebody and go, oh, look at them, and
Oh
it's all
my gosh, all the time.
I've had that. It's all right for you. And you're like, oh, if only you knew.
If only.
So people get this very skewed version of what they think is going on. And I said to him, yes, please do. I didn't have the guts to go and stand up in front of the room. But I said, yeah, do. Because I'm pretty sure that there will be somebody in that room who's thinking,
Yes.
oh my God, I'm feeling like that. Because I also said, because I've got anxiety and I've had depression, that equals won't make a success of anything, that I'm
Yes.
doomed almost, that's it then, because I'm just going to be rubbish. I couldn't even go and get a job because I was too anxious to even apply. So I was just like, I'm now going to spend the rest of my life just flitting around
Yeah.
aimlessly. And I wanted for Stuart to share the message that actually, even though I've been crippled with it and I've only just started leaving the house at that point, I've found ways to help myself
Yeah.
build the business. And the number of people who came up to me at that meeting and was just like, I'm like that. I'm on antidepressants.
It's
I've
amazing,
felt
isn't
like
it?
this. And again, those people, you're like, what?
What?
Never.
Yeah.
But you've been up at the front doing trainings, and like, it's all a mask. It's not
Yeah.
me. It's all, I'll go home now, jammers on, into bed. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh my God. And I just thought, we need to talk about this more. I mean, it's always been a big thing, we need to talk more. And I just thought, maybe I need to share my story
Yeah.
just to I set intentions now all the time. And every morning I set the intention that if I can help one person feel 1% better today, I truly feel that's why I'm here.
That's amazing.
That's where and sometimes, because I still suffer with a bit of confidence, like you were saying, and all the
Of
things, and
course.
I just think,
Yeah.
oh, I just want to shy away, and I don't want to be on the camera, and I don't want to be up there. And then I kind of get that little guidance that says, somebody needs to hear your message today.
Yeah.
Put something out there because somebody needs that. And I may never know who that person was.
It's not about that, though. I think sometimes, actually, it's not about the recognition. That's not why we're doing this. We're doing this to help. And I think a collective energy of that comes from a much more powerful place of, actually, we're here to help, we're here to serve. And we don't need to know who those people are, we don't need anything back. If I've helped one person quietly and I don't even know about it, then you know what? That's a really good day. That's a really, really good day.
And I kind of love that, and that spurs me on. And I think actually, I feel like I've got a responsibility
Yeah.
then. Not that I'm a big, big
No, 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 it's
world of
not.
the internet. I'm a teeny piece, but I
Yeah,
don't think if I can. I was saying to Chloe about this the other day, like we were talking about mindset and the difference of different mindsets and stuff, and I was saying to her, if I can change my little part of the world one
yeah,
mindset at a time, that's amazing. And that long lasting positive effect that that could have on somebody, that could change their relationships, it could change their home life, it could change how they feel about themselves. That was something I had to work on as well. I didn't like myself. And if we can help women, and just by normalizing the conversation and saying, do you know
yeah,
what, it's okay
yeah,
if
yeah.
today you're in bed and you don't want to get up, that's
Yeah.
okay. And that,
It's such an interesting one because it can have a domino effect in both directions, can't it? And I think we've both seen that, right? Because you can have this domino effect that obviously quickly goes dark and can spiral that way. And then you can have the other side of it, which I think is what you're doing and you're helping people with, is having the domino effect that's going to go the other way, that's going to go into the positive way. So not saying that everything's going to change overnight and miraculously you're going to feel so much better tomorrow if you do X, Y, and Z. Actually, it's a compound effect, and
mm,
it's learning these new techniques and these new tools, but actually it has a much bigger effect. Just it might help that person, but like you said, in as a byproduct, it might help their family, might help their children, might help if they do have a job, what's going on in their workplace. It might help relationships, might help them relationship with money. So it has this much bigger domino effect. So it's just understanding how we want to take it from going that way and we want to start moving it that way. And I think that's massive. That's absolutely huge. You are absolutely incredible. You really are.
well, I feel like I found my path. I do. I talk about it being my sole purpose, which I know some people go, oh, but I truly feel that it is, and I believe things happen for a reason. And as awful as it was, um, I think that I needed to go. I mean, I definitely needed to go through that for
Yeah,
myself, but that maybe I can, and it seems that I can use that now to be a voice, like saying just my small part of the world. I mean, I'm building a Facebook community again. It's just important for me. And I support women predominantly, nothing, and I know men, I need to say this, I know men also struggle with mental health. So
of
this is
course, right. Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
demeaning men's mental health at
yeah,
all. But I predominantly coach women. And I think I have a Facebook community where I just want women to feel like they can just be themselves, where they
yeah.
can take the mask off and say, do you know what, today's
This
been
is who I am. Yeah,
pants
yeah.
today. And also with that kind of acceptance as well, that I was talking to a lady the other day and she said, oh, I seem to take, today's been a tough day. I feel like I've taken so many steps forward and now 500 back. And I said, yeah, but you haven't though.
Mm.
It's just that today was tough. It's
Yes.
not a linear, you know,
No, it's not
like my
linear.
business. It's very up and down. But I said this to this lady that, you've been traveling up and yeah, you've slipped a bit. Today was a dip.
Yeah.
You haven't gone
But
back
we're
to
still
there.
good. Yeah, we haven't gone back to the beginning.
And so it's like, and again, kind of allowing yourself that moment of, and I've done it. I've done it this week of thinking, do you know what? I'm going to just stop,
Yeah,
but then knowing what else to do. I'm not just going to sit and wallow in this. I'm going to
yeah.
go for a walk, or I'm going to go and read or do something that makes me feel nice,
Feels better. Yeah,
and then come back to it, whether that's in an hour's time, in 5 hours time, or tomorrow.
yeah, yeah.
It's kind of giving yourself permission as well to
To
not
have those days.
I must keep going. I must keep going, because you can't.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Eventually, something will give.
So you're obviously coaching women across the planet at the moment. Obviously, you've done
Yeah.
Fox TV as well. I guess we've got 2025 fast approaching around the corner. Like,
Mhm.
what do you want to achieve in business, I guess, for 2025? Have you got a goal or yeah, what is it you're looking to achieve?
Oh, crikey. There's lots I want to achieve. I want to write a book.
Amazing. Absolutely do it.
So yeah, I just want to. I guess I just want to continue to spread the message. I want to continue helping women. I want to help women. I want to grow my membership where women can come together as a community.
Yeah,
Everybody, they're all on the same path, and just to come together in that space as well. And yeah, I just want to, oh, business wise, what do I want to do? I want to be able to help more in the community as well. So I'm now looking at funding
amazing.
allow me to put on services for women who, sometimes because reaching services like I provide and similar to me can be really hard for some
Yes,
people
yeah,
for
it can be.
different reasons. And so it's my goal, my passion was always about helping as many women as I can.
Yeah,
And I don't want women to feel like it's out of reach for them.
yeah, of course,
So
absolutely.
by going down this funding route, it's going to allow me then to provide the services for
That's
women
incredible.
who might otherwise just not be able to have access to it.
That's absolutely amazing. You are an absolute blessing in this world. You really are. I guess my last question is, if there is someone who obviously picks up this
Mm.
video or watches this on replay who is maybe kind of being able to resonate with your story, but sort of like 5 years ago with the person that you were, what would be your one, I guess, tip for them today?
That's a good question, Sally. What would be my tip? It would be, got lots of tips. First of all, just be honest and
Yeah,
open with yourself and anybody or people close to you
yeah,
about what's happening, and not try to pretend that it's not, because it will bubble up. You
yeah,
can't keep it down. At some point, it will show.
it
And
will.
yes,
I
by
agree with that.
recognizing that you are feeling these things, first of all, there is support out there, whether it be through me or other places.
Yeah,
There is support out there, but recognize that that's where you're headed and start speaking to people about it.
absolutely. Yeah. I think
Because
that's a very good tip. I think that is absolutely essential. And it's one of those situations to start talking to, and I know talking about the way we feel and what we're thinking and can be hugely what feels like intimidating, but actually, even if there is just one person that can say, oh look, even if they don't understand where you're coming from, maybe go and speak to this person, or maybe go and talk to that charity, or maybe reach out online, or and I think that is, like we were talking about, a bit like the domino effect, that actually just by speaking, that's the start in the right direction. But the longer we don't talk about it, we're having that domino effect in the other direction. So I think it's very much.
it is, and that's part of the exhaustion as well, because then you're just putting on this painted smile. And I remember coming out of the doctors when the first time that I'd gone, and although I was just like, I can't believe I'm on antidepressants, because I had the stigma like, oh my God,
Yeah, yeah, of course.
it's way off me now. That's what I thought. I said to him, are you going to ring social services now? And he was like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
I said, she is being looked after, And he said, I've got no doubt about
Think
telling
about
her.
that. Yeah, yeah,
That was
yeah.
one of my things, is like, Anne Marie equals mad equals must take Chloe away.
Mm,
That was my fear, which is one of the reasons why I held back. I'll be fine, I'll be fine.
yeah,
But actually coming out of there, taking the medication out of it and thinking, oh, actually, it's a
yeah,
thing. And then again, like speaking to my mum and other people, and although some of the conversation, oh no, but then thinking, I don't need to hide this anymore. I don't need to pretend. I can
yeah,
actually, instead of making arrangements and then having to cancel, but then going, oh, it's because I'm poorly, or
yeah,
oh, I need
yeah,
to
yeah,
work, or I need to paint my nails, or something equally
yeah.
rubbish. I could actually say, do you know what? I just don't feel like it today. Or actually, the thought of going there is sending my anxiety through the roof. And I could, for the first time,
Feel it lift.
got it or not, I
Yeah.
felt like I could say, this is it.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. You, like I said, you are an absolutely incredible woman with a truly powerful story. You are helping women all over the world really kind of in the first steps of kind of getting out of this place and moving forward with life. And I think that is just incredible. It's incredibly powerful. I am honored you're my friend. I am honored to come to you for business advice as well. I know we talk about business and everything like that. I know you're giving away a freebie, aren't you? Your self-care guide.
Yeah, it's the
Um,
Mindful Self-Care Guide.
which I will stick in the notes below. But if there is anybody that wants to obviously reach out to Anne-Marie and start a conversation with her, then absolutely please do. You can find her on Facebook. I will put all her links in as well. But from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for sharing your story, for giving me the opportunity, like being vulnerable and open and talking about obviously life and obviously business as well, and where you are today. You are an inspiration. It is our 1 year anniversary since we did Fox TV, so congratulations as well. I love you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
can't
thank you.
wait to see what 2025 brings for you, my darling.
Exciting times.
Cool. All right, my lovely. Thank you so much. Take
Bye.
care. Bye.